Hello, welcome back to the Jamie Ross Show. I'm here with the one and only Hank Zona. I think everyone knows you.
I don't know about everybody.
Well, if you're on Maplewood Online, I'm sure they've seen your name here and there. But you're known a lot lately for doing wine tastings, and we have a little themed wine thing tonight. Now I'm a total newbie. I hardly drink wine. So where do I start? And can you explain the wine tasting concept a little?
Sure. My business is called Swirl Wine Events, and I run events of all different sizes, all different themes, private events, corporate events, fundraisers, dinners, tastings. And one of the reasons I've gotten involved in this is because wine consumption just keeps going up. More and more people want to know about it, and they want to know about it in a good, informative way. And the best way to learn about wine is to taste it. It all really comes down to a matter of personal taste. There really are no wrong answers when it comes to wine, except White Zinfandel. So it's really what you like, and trying different things. And I tell people, the way you try music, the way you try books, the same way you try wine. If you find a musician you like, you try their other music. If you find a type of music you like, you try other artists to do it. And the same really with wine. Okay.
And today's theme is?
Today's theme is Valentine's Day, which is approaching, and we're going to do a little wine and chocolate pairing. And on top of the wine, I even brought along a beer, because I will put beer and I'll put different types of liquor sometimes in the tasting as well, because we like to pair things up with food. And tonight I've got some nice chocolate.
So with wine tasting too, do you explain to people, like, what to look for? Here's the bottom line: should you smell the cork?
No, you shouldn't smell the cork, especially because some corks are rubber right now, and some wines have screw tops, and you might actually cut your nose if you smell.
But that used to be
I think that was people used to smell the cork, but really what you should do when you have a cork is actually touch the cork.
Touch it.
You want to make sure the cork is wet. If it's dry, that means that it might not have been stored properly.
And then the other thing is people go like this.
People do swirl, and
they stick their nose.
And they stick their nose in. Now we have some challenging glasses here to stick noses in and to swirl with. The name of my business is Swirl Wine Events, and the reason why you swirl something is to kind of just release some of the scent, and it's the smell, the look and the smell are the first things you want to go for when you're trying a wine. But really, what's most important is the taste.
Does it matter how much it clings to the glass?
It might, yeah. That's called the legs, and again, that also depends on the type of wine it is. For example, with this sparkling wine that we have here first, there's not going to be much of that, but with some of your bigger, heavier wines, you will see some of that. But that's not necessarily an indication of quality.
So sparkling wine is not champagne?
Champagne is sparkling wine. Not all sparkling wine is champagne, but all champagne is sparkling wine. But about 10% of all of sparkling wine made in the world are champagnes. What I brought here tonight was a sparkling wine from California, Roederer Estate, and Roederer, which is will be the second bottle from you, right there. Roederer Estate is the California estate of the same company that makes Cristal. I didn't want to bring you a bottle of Cristal because I didn't want you to feel nervous about not liking it. So I brought something that was really a fraction of the cost. But this is a nice wine. It's a California wine. Sparkling wines, and this is made in what they call the champagne method. So it is made in a similar style to champagne, using similar grapes. Champagne, they use 3 grapes: Pinot Meunier, Pinot Noir, and Chardonnay. And a very quick primer on this. If you have a Blanc de Blanc, that means it's 100% Chardonnay. If you have a Blanc de Noir, that means it's made 100% from the black grapes. This is a brut, so it's really a blend. And what you'll find with this is a kind of a toasty and yeasty scent. So you can go ahead and stick that nose in there.
Blanc de Blanc means white to white.
Yes, it does. Yes, or white of white. Yes, so it's really all the white grapes. But again, this is a blend. And I tell people, always take a taste. You see things where people are swishing it around their mouth and shooting it around in there.
And then you spit it out.
Well, when I go to some tastings and you try 250 wines, you better spit them out. Because I have to be able to get back on the train or in the car. But I tell people, get it around your tongue. You don't have to go squishing it around in there, but a lot of Americans, what we do is we drink straight down the gullet and it misses
Right.
your tongue. So
Right,
it's
right.
nice to actually get a good taste in there. What do you think of that? You're a beer drinker.
It's nice.
You're a beer drinker. And
Yeah.
sparkling wines, to me, are very similar
Yeah.
in respect to beer. They're acidic, they've got bubbles, and that makes them really good with food. What I have here are a plate of chocolates from this wonderful artisanal chocolate maker in Cranford. Her name is Diane Pinder, and her company is Zona. She is recognized as one of the top food artisans in the state right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done wine and chocolate pairings, which are kind of over the top.
Right.
What I want you to do is try this first one here, which is an olive oil and sea salt truffle.
Wow, this one?
That one right there. And
Okay.
what I do with food pairings with wine is I always tell people try a little bit of the wine, try a little bit of the food, get a good taste of that, try the wine again. Almost has a buttery, sort of a creaminess to it,
Mm-hmm.
similar to the wine itself.
Sea salt, huh?
Sea salt and olive oil. Now again, this is kind of a nice little pairing because it's a bit over the top
It is
for
good.
bit over the top for the holiday, so to speak.
Yeah, now what, well, in general, I mean, you always see wine and cheese. Does cheese really go with the wine, or?
UCal Davis proved that wine actually does not enhance the taste of
Mhm.
cheese, but there are some
Mhm.
classic wine and cheese pairings.
Mm.
And I have done very specific wine and cheese pairings, and they're kind of fun.
Mhm.
I did one just last week, and sometimes it isn't just wine that goes best with something. It might be beer.
Right,
And
right.
it ended up with one of the cheeses. I offered a beer, a saison, as well as a couple of wine choices, and the 12 people who tasted actually preferred the beer
Mm.
with that cheese,
Huh.
which does happen.
Okay.
And I know, again, you are a beer drinker,
Yes.
and one of the things I brought here with me is a chocolate stout.
Maybe we
Now, I know
should
not everybody
try
wants
that
to. Yeah, I
next.
know not everybody wants to have champagne or any type of wine. They are beer drinkers. This is a chocolate stout from the Umagang Brewery up in Cooperstown. And what do a lot of people like to have with their beer, Jamie? They like to have pretzels. So I brought a really nice high-end
Okay.
chocolate-covered pretzel for you there too.
All right. Excellent.
So
Let me try this first.
again,
Yeah, it's
it's
nice.
similar way to taste. Get it in your mouth, get a good smell of it, get that taste, see how it goes with the food.
Yeah,
Try it
yeah.
with your pretzel.
Alrighty. Now, is there many beer tasting?
There are beer tastings, and one of the things I found in my experience, though, again, because wine consumption keeps going up, I find that just about anybody will go to a wine tasting, whether a person considers themselves a novice or an expert, or where most people are, which is somewhere in
Mhm.
between. Beer tastings, I have found, really appeal more toward people who are true beer fanatics.
Okay.
Not to say that a novice won't go to them, but just I think the typical profile of the person who goes to them is someone who really is much more geared toward beer. But there are a lot of beer and food pairings out there. I think beer consumption is kind of, boutique beer consumption is sort of leveled off at this point. And again, by next year, the United States will be the largest consumer of wine in the world. Not per capita, but
Wow.
overall.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, that's very nice. And it goes well with the pretzel.
With the pretzel. Beer always goes well with pretzels, and a chocolate stout would go really well with a high quality chocolate covered pretzel, I think.
Are stouts that much more in calories than a normal?
No, stouts actually, Guinness actually is lower in calorie and lower in alcohol.
That's
than
what
most
I
beers.
heard.
Yes, but a
Huh.
lot of these artisanal stouts probably are a lot more kicked up.
And they look and they feel like
Right.
they're more, but they're not.
Well, that's a big thing about tasting, I find too, is that, yes, go ahead and taste, Jamie. How do you like that?
It's pretty good.
That is pretty good. That is, yes, that is just to show what that is. That
Yeah,
is promiscuous.
Yeah,
And-
I'm just cleaning my palate.
Which is excellent. Yeah, promiscuous is a wine that I like to show to people because it gives people an idea of how wine is marketed today. I like to tell people everybody knows that sex sells, but the question is, does it taste any good? It's used a lot in the market of wines these days,
Right.
and
That's a great name, though.
it is a great name. It's very catchy, but the nice thing is the names of some of these wines now may seem gimmicky, but today with such a glut of wine in the world, it's not that difficult to produce a good wine. So the label kind of brings people in, but the wine in the bottle has to keep them coming back. And I think that's a good example of one of those wines that does that.
It's tasty.
It is tasty. I can see you're really enjoying it, and I want you to keep having some. It's,
Yeah, I will.
because it's kind of warm in here.
we have one more to go. We'll be right back to talk about our final glass of wine right after this.